Let me show you a great way to debug your Moonshot strategy in JupyterLab. I've opened my Moonshot strategy in the JupyterLab editor. This is a static Python file, so the first thing I need to do is right-click on the file and select Create Console for Editor. This gives me an interactive environment where I can execute the file. Next, what I'll do is select the entire contents of the file by clicking Ctrl+A on Windows or Command+A on Mac, and I then click Shift+Enter just like I would to execute a notebook cell. That copies the lines from the editor to the console and executes the lines. Now the strategy file just contains my Moonshot class, so that didn't actually run a backtest. Instead, it just loaded the strategy class into the console. Next, in the console window, I want to instantiate my strategy. The class name of my strategy is up-down demo. And for this technique that I'm demonstrating, you want to name the variable self. The next thing I'll do is load some prices by calling the strategy's getPrices method and saving that to a variable called prices. And let's pick a date that I want to debug. This getPrices method that I just called is defined on the Moonshot base class. So my strategy, up-down demo, inherits from the up-down class, which is defined near the top of this file, and that in turn inherits from the Moonshot class, which is providing the getPrices method. So at this point I have prices actually loaded into the console, and I can peek at the data frame to see that. Now, let's say I want to debug the prices to signals method of my strategy. Here's what I can do. In the editor, I'm going to select the body of this method. I am leaving out the method definition at the top, and I'm leaving out the return statement, just the body. Then I click Shift+Enter again. So again, that copied the lines and into the console. And because of the way I copied them, those lines are not inside a function or class, so they actually ran. Now, normally with a Moonshot strategy, the prices data frame is passed to this method as a parameter. But in our case, we already loaded the prices data frame into the console in a previous step, so that's what was used to execute these lines. What that means is that all the local variables from the prices to signals method are now populated in the interactive session and can be inspected. Let's look at the signals data frame for a particular security, and let's tail that. We can see here that there were short signals for this security on these dates. Let's suppose that I am confused by that and I want to figure out how that happened. I can go back and look at some of the previous data frames to see what's going on. So I have a data frame called bottom ranks that is the basis of my short signals. So if I look at that and look at the same security and tail that, I can see that this security was ranked in the bottom 50th percentile during this period, and that's why I got a short signal. If you want to keep going with this, now that we have a signals variable populated in the console, I can go down to the next method, signals to target weights, select this line, and hit Shift plus Enter. So what that will do is now the variables from this method are populated in the console, and I can look at those just like I did with the previous method. And you can keep doing that for all the methods you've implemented in your strategy.